Hello today. We are going to be covering the topic of Jaws, a Steven Spielberg movie from 1975. Jaws was a horror movie that is a shark terrorizing a small town named Amity, and it's an island. Our main protagonist is Martin Brody, the chief of police, and he is aided throughout this story by Hooper, a marine biologist, and Quint, who is a professional fisher. And this all happens within around an hour and 50 minutes, with many jump scares and many cinematic elements that are very important to how the whole movie feels and plays. Here are some shark teeth for you. Megalodon, Mako shark. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's cover how the opening scene in Jaws has some of the best cinematic techniques that create the movie how it is. We are introduced to the point of view of the shark going through some coral brush and playing its classic Jaws theme. One of the best themes, my opinion. Don't want to hurt anyone out there. It's the best one. But it's a non-diegetic sound, so no one in the movie can hear it. But it creates such a great atmosphere for the viewers. When it's used, it gives a feeling of rising suspense and terror within the viewer, and it's pretty awesome. The feelings that I get from listening to the music is that I get some stress, suspense, a little bit of fear, and I think a little bit of beauty on top of that. It is pretty. It's able to make a large impact on how the movie plays, and especially in the opening scene. Next part of the opening scene, we're greeted with a bunch of beach campers. Two of them head off on their own to swim. One of them too drunk to move, and the other becoming shark food. And in that scene of one of them getting attacked by the shark, it plays that amazing music, but it also plays that scene at an eye level angle with the person as they're thrashed about. Another great thing is the camera cuts. It's a very smooth transition how it goes from the coral brush going completely black and then introducing us to a bunch of beach campers. Next part, shall we? The elements Steven Spielberg uses to cause all this suspense and fright in his film are they vary, and they're very well done. To the music, to the lighting, to the camera angle. Around halfway in the movie, there are two guys who are trying to hook the shark by chaining a hook to the dock and putting a roast on a hook. They throw it out, the shark catches it, and it starts pulling them, and it breaks the barge off, and it's playing that classic theme that makes all the suspense rise and rise and rise. And then there's also the key of lighting. It's very dark out, but even though it's still dark, it highlights all the things that are lighted enough to move. That just makes them amplify. And then the camera angle at a high angle when the barge that the shark is hooked onto turns around and starts chasing after the guy is a very good scene for building suspense and releasing all the shock. Just it disperses into nothing when we find out the shark isn't there anymore. It is a very, those cinematic elements are some of the reason why I've loved Jaws. I've watched it since I was a kid, like 5 years old. 5 year old watching people getting eaten by sharks. But I always loved it. I love sharks, and I love that theme. Theme's beautiful. Best theme. All right, let's move on to the next part, shall we? Let's now cover how Jaws is a creature film. Creature feature, I mean. And how does Jaws manifest our inner fears? Well, for one, big animal, big teeth, scary. That's a natural instinct. Big thing with big teeth means that's definitely going to seem scary to people. But there are some other things too. And actually, one of them is embodied by a character in the film, Martin Brody. Martin Brody is not a fan of the water. He is, I wouldn't say petrified, because he was willing enough to go on a boat. But he doesn't like getting into the water. So I'm going to say that's one of his fears, is the ocean. And ocean, the deep, that can scare people. Another fear is the fear of the unknown. That could also be related to fear of the sea. But think about it. You can't see the bottom. You don't know what's down there. Who knows what's down there? That is shown perfectly when the shark arises from nowhere. It seems like in the couple scenes upon the orca when they're trying to hunt the shark. Shark pops up out of nowhere. Everyone's shocked. Shooken. Another noticeable fear is a fear of this, something that is there but cannot be seen. And again, represented by, seen about in the middle of the film, two guys. You could see the dock moving and chasing the guy, but you couldn't see the shark. You didn't know what the shark was, but you knew it was getting close. And that seems scary. Next part, shall we? Jaws overall, I think it was a very good movie. Very good cinematic elements of music, lighting, camera angle, camera cuts, and zoom ins and zoom outs. Like on the beach where Brody is realizing something is wrong, where the little Kinder boy gets eaten by the shark. Got some shark teeth still. But I thought it was a great movie. Probably some of the best aspects that make it a top film in my book. I don't know how other people would rate it, but I'd say it's a solid movie, and you should watch it if you like it. If you like sharks, watch it. Shark teeth. Shark teeth. All right. Bye. All right. So in Jaws, there's many protagonists, but there's a couple antagonists, I guess. Quint is a bit of both because he is helping. He's a protagonist by helping kill the shark, but he's also an antagonist by being stubborn and thinking that he is enough. And this is shown throughout the film where he just ignores Martin Brody and Hooper, where they just can't get along, and he seems to be causing many problems throughout the whole story of Jaws. And Jaws definitely seems like a man versus nature to some degree, because the the people of the island view it as a monster and that they have to kill it, and nature is just being nature. Well, besides that, Jaws is the shark is eating people, which sharks do not like eating people. So maybe it can be seen as nature retaliating against people by having a man-eating shark attack them. That's something. Next part.